there, YouTube friends. maskedbandit here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. We are back in BroNation Studios for the next episode, episode 4. And first thing on the docket today is filling out and completing this little corner. This little teal building here needed some TLC. Boo. It's okay. You can hate that joke. It was terrible. But anyway, I'm unsure of this building now that it's built, and there's some ideas that I like, and I think it would fit well in maybe a different style of deco. But in this one in particular, I'm not sure. Doesn't seem to mesh well with the other buildings in the area. So take a look at it, see what you think, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of this little structure? I mean, I know it's a just totally just there to fill up space. It would probably house parts of the restaurant or something. I don't know, or an extension to the restroom. Who knows? But I'm not sure it fits the style of what's around it. So take a gander. And then I'm so pumped because I actually got a lot done. This is a very, 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 very choppy time lapse today. It's because there are so many hours poured into this episode, and a lot of it was boring, tedium, trial and error stuff that I ended up getting rid of. What we're building here is we're building one of the corner buildings that's going to lead to our eventual BroNation Main Street. And this is a direct rip-off of Napier, New Zealand. I think I mentioned it in the previous episode. There's this city in New Zealand, Napier, and it was destroyed by an earthquake in the 30s. And when they rebuilt the town, they decided to rebuild it in the traditional deco from the 30s, to represent the era that it was in. And it's one of the best examples of like Art Deco architecture out there, and I love it. There's so many great, unique, strong buildings. So I'm going to be pulling from a bunch of them for this park, and this is the first one. This building is, I gotta look it up. This is, obviously it's a corner building. I think it's a financial building. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember. Here I am again, not doing my research, before things happen. So, before I push record. Sorry, I'm terrible at life. So, this is the T&G building. Yeah, it's the T&G building, whatever that means. Real official show we got running here. Yeah. So that's all I know. It's the T&G building. So there you go. But it's a really cool building. Mine actually ends up, I think, a little fat. One of the issues when I use real buildings as reference is obviously their scale is different than in a theme park. And so I actually had a bit of I modified it more to fit our theme park scale and architecture. And that's actually done after the entire building is put in. I build the whole building and then realize that these flanks here, these 2-story flanks, which are originally 3 in the reference image, are still way too tall. Like, I always kind of knew it when I was building it, but it wasn't until we get the whole building done, and you realize that it's out of scale with itself. So as we progress here, don't worry if you're like, those are huge walls. I know, and they get knocked down a peg or two. So that's what's going on with this corner building, and it's a lot of the this dome technique here. Because, it's a curved building, so it really requires that technique. And I thought it came out really well. It took me several attempts to get what I wanted, and it took several attempts to get something that looked good. And I was real proud of myself. I used multiple buildings for this. So the walls and stuff are one building, and the dome is another building, and then the sides are another building. So it was really easy to manipulate and move what I needed to move. So that made me real proud of myself. So you will notice we are doing windows as walls, so part count be damned. We're going for it. When it comes to this kind of architecture, you just kind of need to, throw caution to the wind, I suppose. And we're just going to go until we can't go no mo. And we'll see what happens. This dome, I think, is I mentioned it, it's a little large compared to the reference image. But I think it'll work just fine. So we're gonna continue to watch this build. I'd like to talk for just a second about what's gonna be going on with BroNation Studios in the immediate future, as well as throw some ideas. I want to let you guys in on my thought process here on some ideas that I have. First thing though is a bit of just housekeeping for the channel. You might have watched, if this comes out when I want it to, you might have watched John T. Geekism's video yesterday about Pinewood Hills, and surprise, I was on that video. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. You'll know what's going on. But basically, he has been generous enough to hand Pinewood Hills over to me. And he has given me a task to build an area in the park. And so I'm going to spend as much time as I can on that, because I want to do right by him. So I want to make sure that I can invest the time and effort that I need to into that. You may see a time-lapse video of Pinewood Hills on the channel next week or the week after. I think that'd be kind of cool. The issue is I don't want to ruin the surprise completely for John T, so I want him to still be kind of surprised at what's coming. So I am sharing pics with him once in a while, just to show him what direction I'm headed, just to make sure he's on board with it. And then eventually I will cut him off and I will surprise him, just like we do with BroCoaster, or like I did with Jubilee for those fine gentlemen. So here we have the old-fashioned dome technique. You know the drill. So I do like these adventure pieces here for the copper kind of shiny roof, the metal copper roof. I think they work quite well for what I wanted them to do. I mentioned some ideas that I have floating around in my head for this park. So I picture this Main Street area. It's going to be fairly short, leading to one of the main dark rides of the park. And it's going to be this goofy Brody mascot. My thought was, in Disney Hollywood Studios, you have the Great Movie Ride, which is, unfortunately, I think it's closed now. But you have the Great Movie Ride where you travel through all these different movies. And I thought, well, how can we broify that? And so what I think we're going to do is, I've already talked to the bros about this, all the mods at BroNation. And I think we're going to have this Brody character just tearing ass through all these parks that you guys are familiar with. And I'm going to actually get the, Mike and Mineral and Kinderly and all those guys to build a scene in this style of their park. And then Brody will go in and muck it up. Or maybe he's going to chase another character through. Who knows? The specifics are kind of vague, but I thought that would be an absolutely hilarious and hilarious idea, and would really fit with what we're trying to do here with the park. So a dark ride that actually visits a bunch of the parks that you are familiar with. So yeah, I thought that was kind of, I don't know, that was smart. And then another idea I have is I want to do a Kinderbot dark ride, where kind of like, if you're familiar with someone named Hethetheth, I think we've mentioned him in a BroCoaster video. He came out, a month or two ago with a Frankenstein type dark ride. I'd like to do something like that, but where it's this Kinderbot he is out of control because he doesn't have his fudge. I think that'd be kind of a fun dark ride. Kind of a riff on the old King Kong ride. I think that'd be kind of fun to do. I think it'd be a fun tongue-in-cheek dark ride. So those are kind of the ideas for attractions that I have. In addition to, maybe we'll have like Jank Coaster or Cacao the Coaster. You know, those ones that you guys have already probably thought of on your own. Those are the kinds of things that I want in the park. So I know these first several episodes have been all about buildings, and the next several probably will still be about buildings. The nice thing is these two corner buildings, you can see I've moved on to another building here. These two corner buildings take up the most time because they're clearly the biggest, and they have to block a lot of room as far as sightlines and stuff go. The rest of them are just true facades that really only need a front and a little bit of side, so we'll be able to hopefully knock those out quicker and get through this Main Street area. So yeah, after this time lapse here, and I know it's fairly lengthy, after the time lapse we are going to enter a real-time portion, because there is some stuff that I did after this that I did not end up recording. I completed this structure here, and I need to, and I built the first of the facades next to it, and I'd like to go ahead and kind of just slow it down and show you what it looks like from peep view, because it's been all time lapse basically since the end, since the first episode, except for the end cinematics, which aren't able to show off much. So, yeah, this building here is another Napier inspired building. It is, it's basically just a strip center corner building that I really like the clean lines, and I thought it was a nice contrast to what we have across the quote street with the other building. And so this one, again, the scale really kind of threw me off, and I had to modify a bit, and I kept shrinking it down until I couldn't shrink it down anymore. You'll see throughout this time lapse here, we shrink the video a little. We shrink the building. We squat it. We make it a little more squat. And one of the things I end up doing, and I don't do it right away because I'm unintelligent about that. One of the things I end up doing is kind of taken from Uthris, if you're familiar with Uthris on YouTube. He has, it's Alpine Odyssey is the name of his park. And he has this building style where he blocks everything out in gray boxes. He calls it his gray box. And he builds the size that he wants and the general shape that he wants. And then he'll go, and in the same building, he'll go like way off and he'll build tile sets. So he'll build a wall with a window and a wall without a window and this and that. And then he just kind of stitches it together and in his outline that he made and to detail it. And I thought that would be a great technique for this building. Once I got pretty far along and realized it wasn't lining up quite the way I wanted, I figured we'd go ahead and start doing this technique where we create these little tile sets. So you'll see here there's going to be a cut, and we're going to jump to one of those little, it's just a 1 by 2-ish, 1 wide by 2 high wall segment, and we just extract it and clean it up so that when we multiply it, it's nice and symmetrical. So that's a nice technique. It's an easy way to get symmetry into your buildings if you are unfamiliar with that technique. So I highly recommend it. Here we are checking out the size, and you'll see we do some shrinking. Oh, I cut it out. Never mind. But here you go. Here's that look. We pulled a part of the building away, and now we're going to make a single tile out of it. And then we'll make a variant that has no window. And I think we even make a variant that has like faux windows like this. Accidentally stumbled upon this nice little detail here, nesting one of those windows behind it gives it that extra line, which to me really screams deco. And it's one of those little details that I usually don't think to do, and so I repeat it up here, and I love the way it turned out. I thought it was a really small detail that added a lot of bang for its buck, so I was excited by that. So I don't know what this shop is yet. It's probably, both of these are probably some kind of gift shop. Maybe we'll make one a clothes shop, or one the Emporium. Like the round one will probably be the Emporium. Got some name ideas I'm floating around. I don't really want to spoil those yet, so they're gonna be, hopefully funny and tongue-in-cheek, making fun of ourselves. That's kind of how I want this to be. I want it to look really good, but then I want it to be so just fraught with inside jokes and stuff that you can't help but giggle when you look at it. So yeah, that's going to pretty much do it for the time lapse here. So I'll let it finish out, and then I will catch you back in the park in real time. So I'll see you over there. Hello there, and welcome to BroNation Studios. I'm your tour guide, maskedbandit. So here we are in a live. This is the first time we've been looking at the park in real time, so it's always a little like, so you can kind of see how things are starting to come together here. We are in, obviously, the Tegid cam, so zoom out, zoom way in. Oh, look at that. So I like that you could see this dome. I haven't really done much looking from here. You can see that dome poking out, just like, oh, what's going on over there? What's going on over there? So let's walk through the gates here. Our entrance area, still need to clean all this up, just so you don't think I'm done. I know I'm not. We got to do all this building here, and we've got to do all this building over here. Like, yeah, but let's get into the park, because that's where stuff looks done. And look, it's Brody. It's Brody the raccoon. Let's get up close and personal on how goofy he looks. Oh, God. It's so goofy looking. Anyway. Anyway, and we swing over here, and you can see we've got our info building, and we've got Mountain Mike's Cali Bistro. And when we go down this way, here is the first aid, and that building, it needs some walls on the bottom. Look at that. Oh, jank. But anyway, there is a exit for staff. It might be a little snug, but you can get a person probably through that, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. But there's going to be a staff entrance back there. And the BroNation logo on the ground. I think that's kind of neat. So, and coming over this way, this area is starting to turn out kind of nice. I'm digging it. Here's our cafe that you've all seen. And selling some TFB. If you don't know what TFB is, go watch BroCoaster. You'll know what TFB is. Our cast members, we need to fix the sign. Got an awesome tip from Wings and Strings. We'll have to fix the sign to make it cast members only and make it all look the same. Here's that building I was unsure of. Now you can see it a little bit slower and up close. It's the outline. It's the neon outline, I think, is what's killing me on it. Actually, now that I look at it, I'll probably just remove that, and it'll probably make it immediately better. And we could do some simple details, some simple lines, kind of like what we've done over here. That might not be such a bad idea. So, but anyway, here's the restrooms and the little water fountains and the inside of the, almost said deli, of the diner. We need to put some more seating out. Oops, we need to put some more seating out here too. Apologies if this is making you like seasick. I don't like to move super slow. Here's our interior. Changed it to say soft drinks instead of soda. That seems a little more, because maybe there's like iced tea somewhere over there. So here's our, someone mentioned putting people in the booths. That's a good idea. I do need to get on that, but happy with the booths, how they turned out. Happy with the chairs and the tables, how they turned out. Overall, just feeling pretty good about it. And I love that once you come out here, this area is starting to take shape. I'm really proud of it. You'll notice the sign on the building has changed from the time lapse to 1936. Oh, look at that. A spotlight has fallen down. We're going to need to cover that up. So anyway, let's take a look at this building first. Here it is in... Oh, no, wait. Before we get there, let me show you. I also dressed up this area here. I cut this out of the time lapse because it was boring. I originally had it I had these buildings. I had the buildings we were working on the time lapse much further back. I pulled them closer, which is why this is just like that. So we're going to remove that. We've got our fencing here, though, our gate for, I don't know, parades or something. Should probably also move the sidewalk now that I think about it. Or maybe shift the whole gate over. And we've got another facade here. And some movie posters. Maybe we can replace those one day with something a little more bro specific. And we've got a carbon copy of it over here. Same business. On this side, it leads to nothing. We'll put some planter in there or something. And we're gonna turn this building. This building's gonna get a lot less fancy and just become just some bare-boned facade work to hide the backstage area. But here it is. Nope, I said we're going to look at this one first. So here it is. Here is I think that's a T&G building. And you can see how it all looks now with everything in place. And I'm pretty happy with it. It needs a little something at the bottom. It's going to need some signs and stuff. But as a structure, I'll take it. I think it's pretty close to the reference while still maintaining a theme park kind of vibe. I dig it. I'm actually way more proud of this one, though. I think I like this building more. This orange detail that I added is totally just not in the inspiration at all, but I kind of love it. So the 1936 there is a custom, little custom font. It is supposed to match my Art Deco font that I have on the workshop. I don't have numbers for it. Maybe I'll make a number set and update the font. That'd be kind of cool. So that's what that's supposed to be, some deco numbers. And you can see here, we are using the in-game new glass pieces, but we're not using the display windows because they're huge. So just some little details, but still really clean. I like it. I think it turned out, I think it's acceptable for what it is. I like that it's kind of repetitive and plain here because this is just a dead end for the park anyway. There's really no reason for people to come over here. So I think that's how it is in Hollywood Studios. So that's kind of how I wanted to keep it here. I mean, that is the inspiration for this park. And then we have this little structure here. It's our first little facade. And seeing it from this angle is really interesting. You can't see the roof at all. And I spent so much time worrying about. I got to get into TegidCam more often and take a look. So, but you can see how it's starting to feel like a street. I'm kind of excited, and I already know some of the next buildings that we're going to put in. And yeah, so I'm going to pull back a little bit here, and that's going to probably do it for the live portion. I just wanted to give you a little quick tour of what we've got. So it still looks wicked unfinished in so many angles, but this angle here-ish almost looks like something. If I zoom in, if I use the TegidCam the way it's supposed to be used, there, that almost looks like something. So there you go, guys. A little personal tour of BroNation Studios. So thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, throw your comments down below. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you like, what you want to see changed. And be sure to check out the next episode of BroNation Studios, as well as all the awesome stuff on the channel, including some Pinewood Hills, some Planet Coaster streams, and some other cool stuff coming your way real soon. So have a great day, great night, great whatever, and I'll see you for the next episode of BroNation Studios. Bye-bye, everyone.